Korach. So big question is Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kaas ben Levi b'Dasan v'Aviram b'nei Eliyav ben Peletz b'nei Ruvain. So the big question is, what is the what's he taking? What's the noun that he's taking? And Korach took the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahas, the son of Levi, and Dasan v'Aviram, and On ben Peletz, the sons of Ruvain. What did Korach take? So it doesn't say. Now, to be fair, Rashi is going to say, what did he take? Rashi is going to give his explanation. To be really fair to the text, it seems like from a straight reading text, and this is how some commentaries say it, he took the 250 men who are mentioned in the next verse. But it seems like a little bit of a run-on until you get to that clause. So therefore, Rashi says, Vayikach Korach, Parsha Zu Yafen Nidreshes b'Midrash Tanchuma. First of all, Rashi says this passage is expounded well in the Midrash Tanchuma. Okay, so he's going to basically Rashi is going to lean off of that. And what did Korach take? He took himself. He took himself to an extreme position. He took himself to an extreme position. That's what we're seeing. He took himself to be separated, cut off from the rest of the community. He wanted to challenge the kahuna. Who was the kahuna? Aaron. And he said, I am worthy to be the Kohen, or Aaron should not be the Kohen. He separated. Separate himself to sustain argument. As it states, it says in Job, what does your heart take you? Why does your heart take you to separate you from other people? Alternatively, Vayikach Korach. Wait, let me just say the first explanation. Let me just make sure everybody understands it. Rashi's saying it's he didn't take a specific object, he took himself to an extreme position. Yeah, Ramban says he took counsel from others, but this is an idea that Rashi is saying that Korach went to an extremism. That's Korach in a nutshell. What's the Korach? Took an extreme position to generate disputes. Extreme positions are always attractive because they're simple answers to difficult questions. And that's what happens. Alternatively, Vayikach Korach, Mashach Raseis, and Hedrios Shebahem Bedvarim. He took the heads of the courts. So, as the alternative explanation, he knew how to convince people. He took people along with him, with his word, with his rhetoric. As it says, Kachas Aaron, take this person. So the word Vayikach can either be, we've seen in Rashi, two explanations. Did he take himself to an extreme, or did he take others along with him with his words? So I just want to say that Rashi, I was studying the Chumash today with a boy, a high school boy, and he was saying to me that the text is so much more important than Rashi, the literal text. But I suggested back to him, no, the Rashi is representative of the oral Torah. The text by itself is the written Torah. What makes our faith is the oral Torah. And without our oral Torah, we would be the written Torah, which there are a billion people who think that that's what it is. But it's about the oral Torah. And Rashi is the synthesis of the oral Torah. And he distills it into what he thinks is of all the passages in the oral Torah that discuss this is the passage that's the most appropriate for us to be paying attention to. So that's why Rashi is telling us this passage was expounded beautifully in the Midrash Tanchuma. Everybody with me? Okay. Ben Yitzhar, Ben Kahas, Ben Levi. Rashi says, so why does it stop there? It says Korach is the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahas, the son of Levi. By the way, what does Yitzhar mean? Anybody know what Yitzhar means? It's another word for Yitzhar is oil. That's the oil. So he says the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahas, the son of Levi. Rashi says, "Lo iskir ben Yaakov." He doesn't say he was the son of Jacob. Shebikesh rachamim al Shemo, because back when Jacob gave the blessings to his sons, he says, "B'sodam al tavo kvodi." He says in their bikahalam al tachad kvodi, in their al tachad kvodi, in their gatherings, don't mention my name. That's what Jacob said to Levi. Jacob said, I don't want to be mentioned. And this is what he was referring to. Leave me out of it. Don't CC me on the email. Don't say that I come back.
I don't understand the chronology here. What would you have known? Is it just should in the future anything bad be done by these people don't associate my name with it?
Or of course, this is prophetically. Now, did he really know? No, but Rashi is saying that we read the verses of the Torah. We read the verses of the Torah not linear, but stepping back, looking at the big picture. And that makes sense also because the Torah was given at Sinai, written down by Moses. So it's not necessarily, chronological that this is exactly what Jacob said to him. This is the words that were placed by the Torah into Jacob's mouth. So therefore, I could say that this verse where Jacob is saying, I don't want to be mentioned in your gatherings, could be a reference, like the whole text has to be read intertextually, all the books. And so it could be a reference when Jacob says, don't mention my name in your gatherings, it could be a reference to Korach. So that's certainly the way the rabbis read it. The rabbis read every verse going back and forth throughout the Bible. So, and that's, by the way, also the way literary scholars read it. In that sense, the rabbis and the literary scholars are reading it together. So, yes, Fira. No, Jacob, when he blessed all of the sons, he gave a blessing to Levi, a blessing, quote unquote. Right, a blessing. And this blessing, part of the words of this blessing was, don't mention my name in your assemblies. And so the Rashi says that that's a reference to when you gather with Korach, when your descendant Korach gathers, leave my name out of it. I don't want to be associated with Korach.
So I just wanted to add
that's why it stops at Levi and doesn't go to Yaakov. Yes, Rabbi Yosef has a point. Yes, Rabbi Yosef.
I just wanted to add to Thira's question because I also don't understand where is such an example with Shimon, because it was to both of them, right? So is there such a case where somebody from the tribe of Shimon was not related in the text to Jacob, like Korach was?
The point is, well, Shimon didn't do the rebellion.
No, Shimon and Levi were both in the same blessing of Yaakov. I'm just asking.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying Shimon wasn't part of this rebellion, so he wasn't left out. So that's the point.
The point, so there's nothing at all historical about that. It's strictly prophetic. Yaakov's colony.
It wasn't looking backwards, it's looking forwards. Yeah, that's the point. But Rabbi Yosef is correct. It only refers to Levi and not to Shimon, which is a slight question on Rashi. So, thank you. Yes, Korach. So that's why Rashi continues. Where is Yaakov's name mentioned, referencing to Korach? So it says, when the Levites gathered to give their priestly blessing on the Duchan, meaning in the temple, not to give the priestly blessing, but to sing their songs, as it says, Ben Avi Asaf, Ben Korach, Ben Yitzhar, Ben Kahas, Ben Levi, Ben Yisrael. So therefore, basically there, when it comes to their service in the temple, it does mention he's the son of Israel, whereas here it doesn't. So that's why Rashi also has to tell us why there's a difference. Why in the book of Divrei Hayamim, it mentions it all the way back, but here it doesn't. And so that's Rashi's point. That Jacob specifically didn't want his name mentioned here. Okay, everybody with me? Since we got a lot of controversy going on here. Okay, next point. The next point, and who is Dasan and Aviram? Rashi says, what are they doing here? They found the good fight. It's like all these groups who are anti-Israel, they find the good fight, they join, but it's not your fight. What are you doing in this?
What tribe were they from?
Well, that's what Rashi's going to say. The Dasan Aviram, it says in the verse, the children of Reuven, but it's not 100% clear from the verse. It says Dasan and Aviram, Bnei Eliav, and On ben Pelet, Bnei Reuven. Who are the children of Reuven? So Rashi says, all of them are. Bishvil shayashevet Reuven, Sharoi b'chaniyasam teimana. So Rashi says, the tribe of Reuven was camped southward. And there, Sheken lakasu vanav achonim teimana, nishtatfu im Korach b'machalukto. So basically, the tribe of Reuven, which all these people were part of the tribe of Reuven, they were next to the Kahas, which was, and his son was Korach. And so therefore, they were neighbors. So that led to this problem. They were hanging out together, so to speak. So this is what Rashi is saying, that Oy Rasha, Oy Shleno, woe to the wicked one, woe to his neighbor. They're bad neighbors that cause these problems. There should be a chumash there. You see a chumash?
This one here.
Aaron, I'm right here. We have an extra chumash for you. So, of course, you could say, why are you sitting so far away, Aaron, when there's a sea right here? So we know that there's another reason. Reuven was the firstborn, and so they might have thought that their tribe then was more appropriate. Here, ask Ben from the page, and he'll be happy to tell us. That he might have thought that the firstborn was the ones who felt like they should be the leaders. Yeah, anybody here firstborn? By the way, anybody in their family here firstborn? Yeah, firstborn sometimes feel like they have an extra responsibility, and
They get a double portion. Right?
they get a double portion, but they also maybe sometimes there's some parents, sometimes on the firstborn, takes them a while to figure it out, right?
There's one theme in the Torah, certainly, and in Judaism, it's not really about the firstborn.
Yes and no, it's the replacement of the firstborn.
Right.
Yeah, it's the replacement. Yeah, but on the other, but as Akiva said, the firstborn still gets the double portion.
Even Avram was the firstborn.
Yeah, no, he was the firstborn.
And what's
Guy, you might need to go upstairs and get a chumash from the upstairs. Okay, so now we have come to the ultimate question. This is one of my favorite midrashim, the favorite Rashis. Mara Korach achol Moshe. Why was Korach arguing with Moshe? So there's a lot here. So first Rashi says, Nitkanel nesiotosho elitzafam ben Uziel. Shemineo Moshe nasiel b'nei kahas. So he was jealous that Elitzaphan was selected to be the prince of the tribe of Levi. He's like, I'm ready to accept Moshe and Aaron, but then I should have gone next to be the prince of the tribe. So it's politics. Al Pi Dibur. And Moshe did it. God told him to do it. Yeah, you had a question? So Korach said, Achi Abba Arba Hayu. There were four brothers. There were four brothers. It says Uvnei Kahas. The children of Kahas were Amram, Yitzhar, Hebron, and Uziel. So Amram was Moshe's father. He was the oldest. Yitzhar was supposed to come next. He was Korach's father. So Korach's like, I should come next. But instead, he jumped over Yitzhar, and gave it to Uziel. Amram Abachor Natlu Shnei Benav Gedua. Amram, the firstborn, he took his two sons, took greatness, Moshe and Aaron. Moshe became the leader. Echad Melech, one became the king, Moshe is the king, and Echad Kohen Gadol, one became the high priest. Mira Eli told Tashnia. So Korach said, who should go second? Shouldn't it be me? I'm the son of Yitzhar, and he's the second to Amram. And yet, what did Moshe do? Mina Nasi es ben achiv hakatem mikulam. Moshe took as the Nasi, the son of Eltzaphan. Excuse me, the son of Uziel. Eltzaphan, the son of Uziel. Hareni cholekolav univatel es tvarav. I'm going to nullify his words. So basically, he was insulted, and he brought down thousands of people because of a personal insult that he was passed over for a position. But it gets worse. Ma'asa, what did he do? What did Korach do? Amad v'kanas 250 rashei sanhedros. He gathered the 250 heads of the courts. Most of them were from the tribe of Reuven and his neighbors. Again, we said that Reuven felt that they should be the firstborn. V'heim Elitzur ben Shteur b'chaverav. And he took Elitzur ben Shteur b'chayotzivo. And it says, Nisiyei Ida Kriyei Moed Anshe Shem. So Korach took the big shots. He took the heads of the community. And what did he do with them? So he took these people, and you know that these people felt like they should be getting more power because he took all the senators, so to speak. And he says, these people are taking everything for themselves. They're bypassing. They're not going through the proper process. They're not having confirmation hearings. We know this. And then he says, what did he do? Hilbishen talisos shekul tchelos. He dressed them in a talis that's entirely made out of tchelos. What's a garment that's entirely made out of tchelos? Tchelos is purple or blue. That's the royal. You ever hear that? Who wrote that book? The Royal Blue.
Something that the priest wears.
Who wrote that book? That was I think the Cohen wears the tchelos. Cohen has garments made out of tchelos. There's a book I think by the historian Mark Bloch. You can look it up. I don't know, Bloch. But anyway, he dressed them entirely in these garments made out of tchelos. So they came and they stood before Moshe, and they said to him, "Tawas shekula shel tchelos, a coat which is entirely made of tchelos, chayeves betzitzis, o petura." So basically, they took a whole talis, a whole garment, and he said, "Do you have to put tzitzis? Do you have to put these fringes on the corner?" And a regular garment, you have to put tzitzis on. The tzitzis has tchelos. So let's say the whole garment is made out of tchelos. Do you have to put tzitzis on it? You follow the question that he raised? And Moshe said to them, "Chayavas, you have to do it. You still have to put the fringes, the tzitzis. You have to put the tzitzis. You have to put these tzitzis. You have to put them on the garment. You have to put a blue string on the corner, even though the whole garment." So they started to laugh at him. It clearly was Slokov. They began to laugh. They said, "Efshar talash min acher putachat shal tchelos potra zo shekul tchelos lo tiftoras asper." They said, if you have a whole garment that's, let's say, made out of just, let's say, non-tchelos, one string of tchelos will exempt it. Now, if the whole garment itself is made out of tchelos, do you still need another string? So he was making fun of Jewish law. He was making fun of Jewish law. But it's more than that. It's much more than that, because what is the nature of Korach's argument? Why did he take the tcheles and the talis and the tzitzis? What was his deeper point there? What's his deeper point here? What's he trying to highlight?
Moses is not the most worthy
Right.
leader.
Well, he's actually not attacking Moshe here. He's not attacking Moshe here. He hasn't said anything about Moshe. The others attack Moshe, according to Rashi, and maybe also according to the text. But here he's not attacking Moshe. What's he saying? He's attacking Why is he taking the example of Techeles? What does the Techeles represent? As Bill said, the Techeles represents, that was the garments of the Kohen. The Kohen, the
And
temple.
sovereignty.
It was the garments of the Kohen, the temple. And where do we put the Techeles? Where do we put the Techeles? On the tzitzis. And what do we say when we we have the last week's portion? This is why Rashi connects it. Last week's portion is, what do we say? It says, we put the tzitzis on the corner of your garments. And what will happen to you when you put the tzitzis on the corners of your garments? What will you be? Be reminded, but what does the verse say? What does the verse say will happen to you? You should remember them and do the commandments. And what will you be? You'll be holy. V'yitem kedoshim. Remember, what's Korach's argument? Korach's argument is we are all holy. So he's taking the tcheles, which right now all the Jewish people get is a little string, and the Kohen gets everything. And now he's saying, well, what if we wear a whole garment, but we still need that string? Like the Kohen, part of the Kohen's garments, the Kohen wears the 4 garments or the 8 garments. They're not tzitzis. He doesn't wear the tzitzis. It's not one of his garments. Only the Jewish people need the tzitzis. And Korach is saying, we're all holy. We don't need this little string. This is an argument that's going to, it's what's it called? Populist. He's like saying, we're all the same. We're all the same. Do I still need those little strings if I have this whole thing? I mean, this is not exactly the only reading of Rashi, but this is to me how I read it, that this speaks to the nature of the entire holiness of the people. And Korach's argument is, I'm a man of the people. I am, for all the people, we're all contain this level of holiness. That's what he's saying there. As Bill pointed out, that the Kohanim had these garments, the purple. Now, if that's why I mentioned the royal purple, because this tcheles, for much of human history, was reserved only for the kings. You weren't allowed to wear it. It was called the royal purple, I think. And you weren't allowed to touch it. You weren't allowed to touch it. You weren't allowed to wear it. It was a very special garment. So that's what Korach's argument is. What if we can all wear it in a garment that's entirely made out of this? Anybody have any questions about this?
So when did that change?
That what?
Only the were able to wear the.
Well, I was saying, for the Jewish people, there was never a prohibition on us wearing a garment made entirely out of purple. But we would have still needed the tzitzis. What I meant to say was, in medieval Europe, in medieval Rome, medieval Europe, these were garments reserved for the monarchy, and it was associated with royalty. So Korach was saying we're all holy. We should wear a garment entirely, don't just give us a little string. Don't just let us be like the Kohen, who wore the robe that was entirely purple, wore the tzitz that says holy to God, which had the strings. We're all holy. That's his argument. Yes, Sam Shepsel.
So the Kohanim, they wore the special garments for sacrifice when there was doing service in the temple.
Yeah.
But when they weren't wearing it special.
Right. It was only when they were serving. Yeah, when they weren't serving, they would wear the tzitzis. But I'm saying when they were serving, this tzitzis was like a garment given to the regular people because they couldn't be the Kohanim, but they could still achieve holiness. So Korach saying, but one string is not enough for us. That's why I'm reading the Rashi. One string is not enough for us. We need the whole garment. Why do you get the whole garment? Anyway, that's just my reading. But let us dive in mincha at this point. Mr. Korach.